Hello and welcome to Great Minds Tutorials. This is your favorite tutor, Hodiso. In this episode, I'm going to be explaining a very simple concept, which is the concept of polymorphism. So what is polymorphism? Polymorphism is just an ability of a class to take many forms. So I wanted to continue on this app, which we were working on in order for me to explain the concept, but there's a lot which is happening, a lot which is going on. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna open a new project so that the concept actually makes sense. So, but the concept is gonna touch on method overriding, which I'm gonna do it in the next episode. Student 2, because we already have the first one. So okay, it's gonna appear there. Let's just wait for it to finish. So okay, when I go into the app student number 2, what I'm gonna be doing here, I'm gonna need 3 things. I'm gonna need a class. I'm gonna need a class which, okay, let's deal with the lecture. Okay, let's deal with the lecturer. So it's com.hodiso coding www. Okay, let's create a lecturer. So now, in this case, I'm gonna have an IT lecture. Okay. Then I'm also going to have an HR lecture. So once you know the concept of inheritance, it's important. It's now important for you to know polymorphism, because the programs that you're going to start creating, chances are they're going to apply the principle of polymorphism, which now a lecturer can take many forms. A lecturer can be an IT lecture, HR lecture, finance lecture, so on and so on. So it means it extends lecture like that. And this one, it also, it's this one. Okay, on the IT lecturer, can we remove this? We're not gonna be in need of that. And I'm also not gonna be in need of this. Not gonna be in need of that. Let's just save whatever was there said. Let's just save. And I'm not gonna be in need of that. Okay, so now this one, it also extends lecture. So now when it also extends lecture, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go to my main class, and not the main class, like the main backend class, which is the super class. Because if I say it's a main class, then it's something different. It totally means something different. So let us say a lecturer has got a name, and the lecturer has got a surname. Okay, it's fine. I'm just supposed to show the data type here. Okay, surname. So what I'm going to be doing now is then I'm going to be having my constructor. I'm going to have a parameterized constructor, which is going to be like that. Let me also have my default constructor. Insert code, go to constructor. Okay, I have a default one, and then I'm going to do my getters and my setters methods. Getters and setters methods. Guys, remember to comment on your code is good programming practice, so that it helps the next person who reads your program or your source code in order for them to understand what you're doing. And okay, so now once you have this, you're gonna have a full code. So now what I'm gonna be doing then, I'm gonna inherit from the I've done this on the wrong. I've done this on a wrong end. This is inside the IT lecture. So I'm gonna cut this, go to lecturer. It's supposed to be here. So I just need to change up here. This is supposed to be lecturer, not IT lecture. That's the only thing that goes out there. And then when we get to this guy at the side, what I'm gonna be doing is that now I'm gonna be pushing a constructor, but the constructor will make sure that it's default. So it's gonna carry everything from the superclass. It's gonna be implemented in here. Don't forget that. It's very important. And also this side, because the concept which I want to explain is very simple. So I'm going to show you the priorities that your compiler is going to take. So I'm going to introduce a little bit of a concept which is going to require method overriding, but I'm not going to do method overriding in this one. Just that I want to explain. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to go to our main, the side, and here we're going to put in a public void, and then lect type. So now inside the lecture type that they are offering, we want to display that they can be full-time or part-time. Or part-time. Lecturer. So, but when we go to the IT guys, we're only employing people who are full-time. So what I'm gonna do is then I'm gonna copy this with this method overriding, but I'm not gonna implement the concept of method overriding. This is still gonna work without method overriding. So yeah, I'm gonna specify that we only have full-time lecturers. And then we're gonna go to the HR, we're only dealing with part-time lecturers. But look at what we are having here. The only thing that is common is that the name of the method is common in all of the classes, lect type. So the reason why I'm doing this is because this is going to explain the concept of polymorphism. Since this application deals with a class which is a lecturer, is a lecturer. Our lecture can take too many forms. A lecture can be an IT lecture, which applies the concept of inheritance. It inherits from a lecturer. And a lecturer can also be an HR lecture, which also applies the same concept of inheritance because it inherits from what? From our lecture. Now, what I'm gonna demonstrate here is that if you go to your main, you can then declare objects. You can construct objects. And okay, so now what we can say then is that then this is new. That should be sufficient for us to work. So we can also have an IT lecturer, ITL, small letter for IT lecturer. And then we're having IT here, capital letters, like that. And we can also have an HR lecturer. So you'll see, when we want to access the method which is applicable for all of them, you will see that the compiler will always prioritize area. You will see that the compiler will always prioritize the method which is found inside that class. So if I import all of this, okay, it doesn't have one. It's fine. Let's come back here. Okay, I've spelled it wrong, so I need to spell it the way it is. That. All right, so I'm gonna copy this. I've just spelled it wrong. It happens sometimes. Okay, so, oh yeah. Yeah, okay, now everything should be fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna system.out the print line. Then I'm gonna first start with the length. I say dot, then I go to the length type. Remember, I cannot do this because it's void. I'll just have to do this. It's gonna display it for me. It's fine. I'll have to do it like this. Semicolon. Okay, now we're gonna do it for ITL, the lecture type. Okay, it's fine. Just remove one of this. Then HRL for the HR lecture. So if I say lect type, then it's gonna be that. So what we should have here, we should have it right full-time or part-time lecture. It should then say full-time lecturer, and it should say part-time lecturer. Why is it? Is because of the process or the concept of polymorphism. So now when the compiler runs this, it will always take priority of the method which is found inside that class. It will always take priority, even if there's a inheritance relationship here. You can see that this one, it extends the lecturer, but it will always take this as a priority. So it means this will override the method which is in here. But in this case, we are not doing fully, we are not implementing the overriding method fully. I'm gonna do it in the next episode. In this case, this is episode number 8. In episode number 9, then I'm gonna be introducing method overriding and doing it properly. But now I just want to emphasize on the concept of polymorphism. So now what is going to happen is that when we run this app, it must display full-time, part-time, and it must say full-time, and it must say part-time. And there you have it. It says full-time, part-time, it says full-time, and then it says part-time. Why? Is because it will always go inside, it will always go to the lecturer. It sees here lect type, it's written full-time, part-time. That's what it displays. This one, it says that full-time lecturer, but it's always going to take priority of this. So now if I remove this, it will always go back to the super. It will always take priority of what is there in the super. If I do not write anything inside that class, it will always take priority of whatever it's found in the super class. So if I were to come back here and then I rerun this, you will see now it will write full-time or part-time. Say full-time or part-time. Where does it get this? It gets this where? In the main class, in the super class, which the super class is a lecture. And that's how your compiler works. In terms of polymorphism, this is just the process of polymorphism. When your class is going to start taking too many forms, when you start applying inheritance, you're going to start having too many forms of your class. And now the principle of philosophy of polymorphism must be implemented. And it's also important for you to understand that whenever you start working on this, you're going to start experiencing stuff like your method overriding, and your method overloading also comes into play, but we'll explain those in the next episode. But now I just wanted you to see that how does your compiler work in terms of polymorphism, and how does it prioritize the methods which are inside that specific class first before it can go outside. And that is all that I had for you in this episode, where we are introducing the concept of polymorphism. Until we drop the next upload, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We are getting there to advanced object-oriented programming, where we're going to be doing interesting stuff. But that is it for me for today. Till the next upload. Cheers.